Getting all around my room, my world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here on the World of Juice channel, and welcome back to another revival series here on Madden 24. Today's participant, today's focus of the revival, somebody that absolutely needs it, not in the league anymore. I know, shocker, right? We're taking a look at the former Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback, Blake Bortles. Now, this one was a suggestion from one of you guys. You've actually suggested a couple of different times for me to revive the career of Blake Bortles, and here we are, because Blake Bortles' career is a very interesting one. He got drafted in 2014 by the Jacksonville Jaguars as the quote-unquote savior of the franchise, because every quarterback that gets drafted in the first round or second round, something like that, is those two rounds usually, are thought to be the savior because you're using a very high pick on the most important position in all of football. So Blake Bortles was thought to be that savior for Jacksonville. Now, we know in the long run he didn't end up becoming that, and maybe that was because the rest of the team around Jacksonville just wasn't really that good until obviously that one blip year in 2017 where they had Saxonville and they went to the AFC title game and lost to the Patriots. That was a wild fever dream type of season. I mean, just go back and look at that entire AFC or entire Final Four of the playoffs. It was kind of crazy. It was Patriots and Jaguars, and then it was like Vikings and Rams, I'm pretty sure. Because obviously it ends up being Patriots, Rams in the Super Bowl, and Patriots win that one. But it's just like a crazy, crazy Final Four. And they got there because of their defense. They had Jalen Ramsey, they had Miles Jack, they had a crazy defense. I think they even had Calais Campbell on that team. They had a bunch of talented players on the defense. But their offense wasn't really that good. Their offense could get it done, but their defense was really why they were getting those wins and stuff. But other than that random year, Jacksonville's really been at the bottom of the barrel for most of their time in the NFL since they came in as expansion team. I think in like 94, 96? One of the two they came in. Mid-90s they came in. So we're going to take a look at Blake Bortles because yes, he hasn't really had a lot of offense to work with and a lot of just team around him to work with, but he also was not, in theory, that good. Now, at UCF, where he was at in college, he had a big arm, he could move a little bit, he was thought to be, like I said, the next big thing, the next savior of a franchise. And when he got drafted to Jacksonville, they thought he was going to be that, and they never really built too much around him. The offensive line was never really that great at a one consistent time. The defense was never really that great until they got 2017 figured out. And then Blake Bortles is just gone, and then he bounces around. I think he bounces around a couple other teams, and then he's out of the league. He retires. But we're going to change that. We're going to turn Blake Bortles into a superstar. So I don't know how long this is going to take. Hopefully not too long, because Blake Bortles has the potential to be a superstar fairly quickly. Out of all the people we've revived so far at the quarterback position, I feel like Blake Bortles has the most potential to take that step the quickest. So we'll see what happens. If you go on to enjoy, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. I was doing some looking on my analytics, some reviewing of my analytics, just to kind of see how everything was going. And I noticed that when I went to the watch time of subscribers versus non-subscribers, it said that 80% of the people that watch my videos and watch my content are not subscribed. 80%. 80%? What are you guys doing? Why aren't you subscribing? I upload every single day. I have tons of content. You're never going to run out of content. You'll never be starved of content from the World of Juice universe of channels, because I have multiple playlists full of content. I have uploads every single day. I have just everything you want. All kinds of different content. You'll never go hungry for content here on the World of Juice channel. So just do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. It takes less than a second, and you'll never miss out. You also get notified, so you have something to watch while you eat your dinner, all kinds of good stuff. So with all that being said, it's time to revive the career of Blake Bortles and turn him into a superstar. So here we are at the 2014 preseason. Now, the earliest mod that I have for the Blake Bortles era is the 2012 mod. So I had to jump into 2012. I had to simulate the entire 2012 season and the 2013 draft. And then I had to simulate the entire 2013 season to get to the 2014 draft. And I just completed the 2014 draft. So there's been 2 full regular seasons since or before we started here, but this is technically where we're gonna start the video. This is technically year number 1, but I have changed the team slightly to give us a little bit of a head start since I had 2 drafts. What do you want me to do? Not draft anybody? No. So we have Travis Frederick, we have Zach Martin, we have Travis Kelce. Now I didn't draft Travis Kelce; they just drafted me him. Auto jet because he was one of the best players that was left on the board. We have Jarvis Landry. We have Justin Blackmon, who I kind of want to make a good player. Now, I know I said this when we did the whole Denard Robinson thing, and we kind of did that with Justin Blackmon, but one of these times I'm going to make Justin Blackmon really, really good because he had the potential to be so good. He was such a good player at Oklahoma State. He was such a good player. He has the potential to be unbelievable. He has the potential to be like a mini Calvin Johnson, if you think about it, but he never really did it. And so I want him to be that here in this franchise with Blake Bortles. We also have Jarvis Landry. Those are the only 2 wide receivers that we have that matter. Cecil Shorts is down there. We also have Kenyon Barner. On the defense, we have one of my favorite players of all time, Paul Posluszny. We have Kenny Vaccaro, Micah Hyde, Malcolm Butler, Kyle Van Noy, Telvin Smith, and Kevin Pierre-Louis, but that's all the defensive changes I made. The defense still needs a lot of work. I didn't really do too much on the defense. Offense still needs a lot of work too, to be fair, but we're pretty good on tackle with Monroe and Britton. We obviously have our interior figured out with these 2. We just need a left guard, and then we need maybe one more receiver. We need a number 1 running back because MJD is a little bit too old at this point. And yes, I know that's, what is that, Alex Leatherwood's face? It's whatever the portrait they chose for this or whatever happens. So we need to get a number 1 running back because MJD is getting a little bit older. But the one rule that we have for the Revival Series episodes are that the player that we are focusing on, which in this case is Blake Bortles, needs to be the number 1 player at his position, the starter at whatever position he plays. In this case, it's quarterback. And he needs to be on this team the entire time, whatever team drafted him. So the Jaguars are the team that drafted Blake Bortles in real life, so that's why we are the Jaguars here. And he needs so we will always be the Jaguars, and we will always have Blake Bortles. That's the only rule that we have in this series. Everything else can change. Everything else can move around or stay the same or whatever we need to do to help make Blake Bortles the best that he can be. So here's where we're starting out. Oh, he's got a player model. That's nice. I wasn't sure since he hasn't been in the league for a couple years if he had his player model still, but he's got a player model. He's 22 years old. Look at this. He's 6'5", 232. That's the quintessential quarterback body. That's what you want out of your quarterback, is to be a big body guy who can move a little bit, has a big arm. He's got all the characteristics that you would want. 22-year-old rookie, 92 throw power. All of his accuracies are already in a really good spot, so we're already starting pretty good there. That's probably the best we've seen between all the accuracies and all of the quarterbacks that we've done so far in this Revival series. His speed is not great, but he's not known to be a fast guy. He can move a little bit. He's a little bit agile. He's a little bit mobile in the pocket, can extend plays somewhat, but it's not his main game. His main game is throwing the balls, obviously, so it's going to be fairly easy to get him up in strong arm. I think strong arm quarterbacks develop a little bit quicker because they're more known to just obviously stick to the passing game. Now, the playbook is what I'm kind of concerned about. Now, we could obviously just straight up go to Kansas City's playbook, and that would be pretty good. It looks like they've already... I promise, I didn't do this. We're on Detroit and Indianapolis. That seems like a bad combination for Blake Bortles, so we're not gonna be running that. We probably should just go straight to Kansas City. If we want to give Blake Bortles the best opportunity, he also has Travis Kelce. So if we want to give Blake Bortles the best opportunity to develop as quick as possible and to be as efficient as possible, we should probably give him Kansas City's playbook and then probably Dallas's defense, because Dallas's defense gets a lot of sacks, it gets a lot of tackles for loss. Sometimes it gets a lot of picks, but you never know. It kind of varies on that one. But we're going to rock with Kansas City's offense for the beginning because I want Blake Bortles to take that step as quick as possible. I want him to be star development soon. I want him to be superstar development. I want him to be X Factor. I want him to be as dominant as fast as possible because I want actually to win a Super Bowl in this one. Now, Super Bowls are not the end all be all of this series. If we don't win them, if we don't win one, that's fine. It's not like it's a failure if we don't win one. The only way it's a failure is if we don't complete the main goal of making Blake Bortles better than how he was in real life. So that's basically making Blake Bortles into the 90s. Because if Blake Bortles is into the 90s, that's far and away better than what he ever was rated in any Madden game ever. So that's the main goal, is to make Blake Bortles a top player in the quarterback class, or in the NFL in terms of best quarterbacks in the league. And I think we can do that. I really do think we can do that. So with all of that being taken care of, I do have training camp for Blake Bortles. We'll do a little bit of training camp for Blake Bortles in a second. Let me just save real quick, because sometimes it does kind of crash. So I kind of want to save a little bit. I do have him also in the weekly strategies. We have Blake Bortles, Jarvis Landry, and Kevin Pierre-Louis. This will just give Blake Bortles that little bit of extra XP that is a little artificial, that would just be injected into that he wouldn't have otherwise. So that'll help him out progress a little bit faster. So let's get in this one little target passing training camp with Blake Bortles. If we get gold, that'll give him an instant upgrade point, so he'll already be off to the races. And he's got some pretty nice weapons to throw to in terms of... I wasn't even moving the controller. I need to get a new controller. Oh, that's a bullseye, though. That's what I'm talking about. Can I get over here and get another bullseye? This is going to be a little bit tougher. Oh, it's not going to be a bullseye, but it'll be a two-hitter. There we go. Where's the other one at? Oh, it's over here. Ooh, this one's going to be a little bit tricky. I might have to go X on this one. Cool. And look at that. Double hit. Now, not bullseyes, but still a two-target one. And we'll go to probably B on this. Ah, I missed them both. That's a rough one. That's going to lose my multiplier. I might have to restart this one after missing that, because I don't know if I'll be able to get gold. I have to hit both of these, and I have to hit bullseyes probably. I hit bullseye on one. That's going to help. That gets to silver. But, man, losing that times 4 multiplier hurts. I didn't think I'd miss both of them. All right, that's a double one. We got 2 reps remaining. If we go over here and we fire now, that's a bullseye. Oh, that's not a bullseye? That was as close as you're going to get and not hit a bullseye. Let's roll over here. This one's going to be pretty tough. Throw on the run. Double hit. No catch bonus. I got to try again. I can't have it where I don't get a gold. He's got to get that upgrade point. Got to get that upgrade point. He would have had it if I didn't miss both of them on that one attempt. Let's go over here. This is probably going to be X because I don't think his B's route... Yeah, B's route's not near deep enough. So we'll go there. That's a bullseye on the first target. And, ooh. Didn't get the bullseye on the second target, but it did hit it. It was pretty close, too. Let's throw it now. Not a bullseye, but inner ring. Just over the target. Okay. That's fine. This is going to be a B for sure. Now, not a bullseye and not a double hit. Ooh, I'm struggling a little bit, but at least I'm moving that multiplier up. All right, this one should be fairly simple. Fire it now. Not a bullseye, and it goes over. It's a catch bonus, but it goes over. We're going to get a little sketchy here. We're only in bronze with 3 remaining. Throw that now. That's 1. It's not 2. This catch bonus, or this multiplier, might be my saving grace. That's a double. That's 2 inner rings. That's a ×8. All right, this is it. We got to hit ourselves gold on this one. So we're going to fire right there. That's got to be a bullseye. Neither one of them are bullseyes, but it is gold. 28,000 on the dot. You know how hard that is to get 28,000 even? That's crazy. I can't believe neither one of those was bullseye, though. I thought for sure they'd be at least one. But we do get gold, which means we get that extra skill point, which is crucial. Very, very crucial. And then we go to the weekly strategy, and we simulate the weekly strategy to get him that extra XP. And maybe he could even go up 2 overalls. which would be really, really good. So we will find out as we simulate here. But then we will go... Oh, actually, we just have to do it right here. Blake Bortles only gets 1 upgrade point. That's okay. So now we're going to simulate to the regular actually, I can't simulate to the regular season just straight right because I don't want them to cut Blake Bortles. That's always a possibility when he's a low overall like that. I don't want them to accidentally cut Blake Bortles. So you guys get to see the inner workings of how I do the off-camera stuff when I cut to the next time. This is what I do. I simulate the training. Sometimes I jump in and do it for him, but that's kind of a rare thing. Usually I just simulate it. Kind of makes it move faster. And then we will hopefully get not only Blake Bortles to develop, but also Kevin Pierre-Louis, Jarvis Landry. I should probably put Justin Black. I'm just now thinking I probably should switch Jarvis Landry and Justin Blackmon to give Justin Blackmon that opportunity to have the most XP possible. Because I know he's the #1 receiver, but that doesn't always mean he's going to get the most XP. So I probably should switch it to make him have the most XP. Or to give him that little bit of boost. It's not really the most XP, but that little bit of boost. Is there a possibility where they cut my boy? I also don't want them to cut Justin Blackmon. Let's just cut some random guys here. CJ Anderson, sorry, buddy. You're too low of an overall. You're never going to be anything for me. We're not focusing on you, big dog. That'd be pretty tough, though, having a 54 overall. I think we had that. We had something in the 50s, right? One of the guys that we... Was it Terrell Pryor? No, it wasn't Terrell Pryor. I forget who the guy... I forget who the guy was that we were focusing on. It might have been... Was it Denard? No, I don't remember. There was somebody that we took a look at that was like in the 50s, I think. Maybe it was Josh Rose. I don't remember who it was, actually. But somebody like that. Okay, let's get the draft class loaded in. The 2015 draft class. Perfect. Now, obviously, we're not in the market for a quarterback, but everybody else on the table for us. So this is the final look at what the team looks like before we simulate year #1. Blake Bortles' rookie season. He's a 68 overall, which is beautiful. He's going to be up there really quickly, especially with that Kansas City playbook. Kelsey's going to skyrocket. Blake Bortles is going to skyrocket. Hopefully, Blackmon skyrockets too, but we'll have to wait and see. All right. So now that you know what the squad looks like, let's simulate Blake Bortles' rookie season and see how much of a jump he takes in only 1 year. Hopefully, it's pretty good because when I was simulating the first 2 seasons, we had the #1 overall pick back-to-back years. So hopefully we don't have that again. Okay, year #1 of Blake Bortles' NFL career is in the books. We won 9 games. We didn't make the playoffs. That's totally fine. We're not ready to make the playoffs by any means. But that is a big, big improvement over the 3 and 4 wins we were getting prior to the Blake Bortles era. So, big, big improvement. And I would expect the Kansas City playbook to do him nicely, and it has, at least in terms of yardage. 4,100 yards, 26 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. That should be star development. I really hope it is. Because if it's not, we're going to be in some big, big trouble for another year of just normal development. Blake Bortles, I really hope it's star development. He had a little bit too many interceptions, but I think that's just because he has only 2 receivers to throw to, not including Travis Kelce, and the offensive line's still not amazing. It's getting better. It's very good, but it's still not amazing. And then also, he's a low overall in the first place, so that probably has a lot to do with it. I'm assuming once he starts to get higher overall, then those interception numbers should drop. MJD had almost 1,000 yards on the ground, not quite. Jarvis had 1,000 yards, 1,100 to be exact, and then 7. Kelce was right up there. Justin Blackmon didn't really have that many yards. I don't like that. He's supposed to be the #1 receiver, and yet Jarvis Landry is getting a lot of yards. Okay. Paul Posluszny had 138 tackles. That's what you like to see. Sack leader was Russell Allen with 8.5. Okay. Not what I expected, but I'll take it. And then interceptions is Paul Posluszny with 2. A couple guys had 1. Okay. So that's where we stand right now in year #1 of Blake Bortles' career. We got to get through the offseason. We got to get through the draft, all that kind of good stuff. Now, when I was going through the 2 seasons that we had prior to starting the video, I didn't sign any free agents. I just did the draft. So I haven't spent any money on free agents. All I've done is spent money on re-signing players that I wanted to bring back for the start of the episode. So that is all the money that I've spent And now we have about, what, 79? Is that what that says? 74, 79, something like that? It said 79 million. Okay, so we have $79 million in available cap. DRC, Dominic Rogers-Cromartie, is the MVP of the Super Bowl for the Eagles. Mike Vick is the MVP of the league for the Eagles. Arian Foster, James Laurinaitis, Players of the Year. Brandon Cooks and C.J. Mosley are the Rookies of the Year. Okay. Very intriguing. And Michael Vick seems to have had a career resurgence. I mean, we already did Michael Vick in a previous video. And I don't think he ever won MVP for us, so I guess I failed, apparently. Whatever. Negotiations, do we have anybody that needs to come back? Russell Allen, he did just lead the team in sacks, so I might want to bring him back simply because he's coming off of a hot season. But I don't think anybody else I need to bring back. So let's get Russell Allen back on a 2-year deal, that's fine. And then we'll bump up his money slightly. He's coming back. Okay, so that'll be the only guy that we offer contract extension to, and we can get straight to good old-fashioned free agency, where maybe there's some additions to the team that we can bring. Specifically on the defense, I think, is what we need to bring in. Jason Peters, Seabass, a lot of tackles. Terrell Suggs is 32. Justin Smith is 35. It's a very old class. Oh, Justin Tucker was there. That's pretty interesting. We are looking for a third wide receiver, but I don't think we're going to find it in free agency. I think we could probably find it in the draft a little bit better. Tight end, we got Kelsey. Left tackle, we're solid on, I think, for right now. Left guard is the only one that we could use an upgrade at, but I don't see an upgrade here. Center, we're good at, even though we could bring in Jason Kelsey. That'd be pretty fun. You know what I am going to do? I'm going to bring in Jason Kelsey, or at least I'm going to offer Jason Kelsey, just so we can have the Kelsey brothers on the same team. I think that'd be pretty fun. Who knows if he's actually going to sign with us or not. We are the best team except for the Cowboys. So then, offensive line we don't need. Michael Bennett could be good. We do need defensive line. That is a big need, but we could probably find that in the draft, I think. The next couple drafts are going to have some decent defensive linemen in them. So, ooh, A.J. Hawk, but he's 31. I wish he was a little bit younger, but I guess that would have to be in 2007 when we start for him to be a little bit younger. Lance Briggs, 34, X Factor. I think I'm just going to stick with the guys that we have. Brent Grimes, only 32. If he was higher overall, I'd certainly be interested. But I'm not really interested in anybody else here except for maybe Jason Kelsey. So I think we're going to let it ride. And he does choose us. Okay, so we bring in Jason Kelsey. Now we have the Kelsey brothers on the same team. That's pretty fun. That's pretty fun. So let's adjust the lineup. I don't know where Jason Kelsey fits in at. It says they want him to be the starter at center, which means we could probably move Frederick over to guard. Is that a thing? I mean, it's Madden, so it doesn't really matter. If we move my man to left guard, what does his overall go to? It goes to an 81. Okay, so he fits better at left guard than he does at center even right now. So, boom, we just figured out our offensive line. That's pretty much finished now, hopefully for the entire video. Look how much Travis Kelsey went up. He's already an 83 overall. And now playing up to an 85. So Travis Kelsey's going to skyrocket. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like Blake Bortles has gone up a development trait, which kind of sucks. He's only a 72 overall, but we have grown him a little bit. Blackman is not the starter anymore. That's okay, because Jarvis Landry has done pretty well with that season. He's now superstar development. I think he was only star, right? Something like that. Any other development upgrades? Malcolm Butler, superstar. I think he was just hidden, so he has superstar. Terrence Knighton has star development now. That's interesting. Okay. Very, very cool. Let's get to the draft. It's the 2015 draft. Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota, all the boys. So let's get to the draft, figure out what we have. So one thing I didn't mention before is that in the very first draft, I had the #1 overall pick. I traded that to Carolina, and now we have their first round pick. This is the last year of the first. We had their pick. In that first year, we had their pick the next year, which I already used, and now we have their pick this year as well. So we have 2 first-round picks for the last time, unless I trade one of them again. But we have Carolina's first-round pick, so wherever they finished will help us out, hopefully. Hopefully they had a bad season, because we had a decent season. We didn't make the playoffs, but we still had a decent season. All right, so let's take a look at the mock draft. Where's everybody going? Mock draft number 5. Dante Fowler, #1, Mariota. Leonard Williams, Jameis, Mari Cooper. Okay, so neither team had that good of a year. Had a pretty good year, because here's us at 14, and then here's us at 19. That's probably Carolina right there. So, okay. So if I wanted to take anybody 13 or higher, I don't think I do. I mean, there's some good players here. Todd Gurley's fine. Amari Cooper's cool. But I don't think we need to absolutely trade up from 14. So we could stick at 14, take somebody down here, and then stick at 19 and take somebody else. Because there's still some decent players down here. Brandon Scherf down here. That would be pretty good for the offensive line. But our offensive line is pretty much done now. Unless I want to get... Because the only question is, how old are our tackles? Because I re-signed them in, like, the first year. So, and they might have been in their 26, 27-year-old thing. So how old are they right now? Eugene Moore's 28, so we might have to think of a backup plan for him. And then Eben Britton is 27. So they're not super crazy old, and offensive linemen tend to last a long time. But we might need to think of backup plans, or maybe that's a waste. Maybe that'd be a waste of a draft pick. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Number 1 pick is the Tennessee Titans. They end up taking Dante Fowler. Then Mariota goes to Cincinnati. Jameis Winston's in Dallas now. Todd Gurley. Seems like the mock draft is pretty much what's happening here in the real draft. Amari Cooper, Eric Armstead, Danny Shelton, Kevin Johnson, Nelson Aguilar, and Bud Dupree. Okay, so we stick at 14, and we can take Scherf. We can take Parker, Vic Beasley. I might want to take Vic Beasley because we are very, very lacking on the defensive line. So Vic Beasley and maybe Shaq Thompson could be the 2 first-round picks that we make here. That might be the best course of action because we do need to focus on defense. Defense is a lot less improved than the offense is. So I think I'm going to take Vic Beasley with this first-round pick, this number 14 pick. We're going to take Vic Beasley. He'll play on the defensive line. And then we take Shaq Thompson with number 19, and that should allow us to have a very good young core of guys. Because who knows how long Paul Leslie's going to be good. And who knows how long... who knows if Kevin Pierre-Louis is going to develop or if Telvin Smith is going to develop. But we know that Shaq Thompson and Shane Ray will most likely develop. So, or not Shane Ray, Vic Beasley. I was looking at Shane Ray before I took Shaq Thompson. All right, let's get to round 2. Garrett Grayson's quarterbacking the Niners. Now, Randy Gregory is still there. He's still an option. He could go on the other side of the defensive line because we still need that, too. Ali Marpet is available. Tyler Lockett is available. Is Tyler Lockett the 3rd wide receiver that we're looking for? Possibly. There's Danielle Hunter. I might want to go Randy Gregory. That might be our best move. Or maybe we go Tyler... I mean, Stephon Diggs is here, so maybe we go Stephon. It'd be hard to pass on him. I think I'm going to take Randy Gregory. Because we can also move Randy Gregory to stand him up if we need to. So I'm going to take Randy Gregory here. Hopefully his overall is good enough to where it doesn't matter that he doesn't have a development trait. But now I think I'm going to take Stephon Diggs because I think he'll make it to round 3, pick 14, but I don't want to risk it. We need that 3rd wide receiver, so we might as well take Stephon. Bada bing, bada boom. So now we got Stephon Diggs, Justin Blackmon, and Jarvis Landry, plus Travis Kelce. So we're looking pretty good at wide receiver. We are still looking for that number 1 running back, but I don't think it's going to be in this draft. I mean, Jay Ajayi's cool. Is he our number 1 running back? Maybe. Let me go through the rest of the positions and see if there's another player that I want to take before him. Adrian Amos is there. That could be something we take. Quan Alexander I like. Trey Flowers. I think Jay Ajayi is going to be the guy that we take. He's not guaranteed to be our number 1 running back, but he's probably going to be a higher overall right off the bat than Kenyon Barner is already. And MJD is starting to regress a little bit, so maybe he does end up being our starter. All right, where do we want to go next? I'm probably not going to draft anybody after this or pick anybody after this. Did I see Lyle Collins there? I think I did. Let's take Lyle Collins because we're still looking for depth on the offensive line, so that's a nice pickup there. I'll go to the 5th round just to see what is left. If there's nobody left that I want to take, then I'll just sim out of it. Left tackle, Quentin Spann. I was hoping that Shaq Mason didn't get grabbed, but he did. It's looking like there's not going to be anybody that I want to take. Maybe there's a corner. Bryce Callahan. No, not really. You know what? I might just let it ride. Let's just let it ride. We got the guys that we wanted in the first place, so I feel like getting Vic Beasley and Shaq Thompson is going to help out the defense right away, because I'm assuming they're both going to be starters. Vic Beasley should probably be a starter right away. He should have a high enough overall to be a starter right away, depending on what our defensive line has upgraded to at this point. But I don't know about Shaq Thompson. He has a good shot at being a starter, but I'm not sure. He's not starting over what's his face. So MJD will get one more year as the number 1 running back, but then it'll probably go to Ajayi at that point. We'll move Blake Bortles to number 1. Zach Martin is the starting right guard. Offensive line looks pretty good. We've got Kelsey still. Then on defense, so Shaq Thompson is a 69. So the closest he has is to pass Allen. So he's not starting right away, but Vic Beasley does start right away on the defensive line, so I'm fine with that. We still need to look a little bit more on the defense. The defense is a little shaky. But I do think we are improved over last season with those additions. And we'll see how Blake Bortles does year 2, still in Kansas City's play. But let me just make sure, because I've done that before where I haven't been in Kansas City's play. Okay, so we are in Kansas City's playbook. I just want to make sure that we are. That's happened to me before. Let's ride with a base 4-3 defense. Hopefully this year 2 can give Blake Bortles development trait, because we really need to. I'm going to load in the 2016 draft class, which has like Jared Goff and Carson Wentz. And then we are going to be good to go. See, look at that. The splits between our offense and defense is very noticeable, so we're going to have to close that gap slightly if we want to make Blake Bortles better. But I'm expecting another big jump from Blake Bortles, including development trait. If he does get it during the season, I will bring it to you. Bring you guys back to show you. If he doesn't, then I'll see you guys at the end of the year. Okay, so we had a breakout scenario for Blake Bortles, and I didn't think he was going to get it, but he does do it. Blake Bortles is now a star development quarterback. Thank the heavens that he got it, because he severely needed it. So it looks like the second season in the Kansas City playbook is paying dividends, absolutely, because now we have a star quarterback on our hands, and maybe even he can catapult this into having a good enough season to go from star to superstar at the Super Bowl time. So, I mean, that would just be unbelievable. I hope that's what happens. I doubt it, but I hope that's what happens. But at least we know for sure we have a star quarterback on our hands. I am not making this up. Blake Bortles, only a couple weeks after you just saw the last clip where we got star development, he has now gotten himself superstar development. Blake Bortles is on a mission to be the best quarterback in the NFL, and it starts right here. I was talking about in that previous clip how I was hoping at the end of the season at Super Bowl week we would see him go from star to superstar naturally, but I didn't have to wait. We got only a couple weeks later, he gets superstar in a breakout scenario. Could he get breakout X Factor? Is that, I mean, anything's on the table now. Blake Bortles is to the moon, baby. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. This Kansas City playbook is out of control for Blake Bortles. I should have been putting him in this from any time ever. I'm like, this is unbelievable. The amount of growth he's had from his rookie season to now. I cannot wait to see his final stats, because I haven't looked at all at his stats on the season. All I know is the team is playing pretty well, and so is Blake Bortles. He's gone from normal to star, and now star to superstar in the span of just a couple of weeks, and there is still a slight possibility we could see X Factor. So unfortunately, we didn't get to see any X Factor via a breakout scenario, but we do make the playoffs in only Blake Bortles' second season here in the NFL. We do win nine games again this year, but that's good enough to win the division and make the playoffs. How? Oh, Blake Bortles second in the league in passing yards. Oh, I'm excited. I am excited. Look at this is the type of numbers that I expected to see from Blake Bortles in the Kansas City playbook. 4,600 yards, 36 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions. I think he had 13 interceptions last year, but he dominated his touchdowns. He had like in the 20s, I think, his rookie year, but now he's up 36. Ooh, Blake Bortles is going to be good. No 1,000-yard rusher, MJD 962 and 9. Jarvis Landry 1,500 yards and 18 touchdowns. Travis Kelce does get over 1,000 yards this year with 9 touchdowns. And Blackman improves his numbers, but still not the number one receiver. That's okay. Seems like Jarvis Landry is going to take that pretty easily. Until Stephon Diggs comes around. 156 tackles from Paul Posluszny's no surprise. Kenny Vaccaro did pretty well. Tyson Alualu had 21 tackles for loss. And he led the team, well, he tied the team in sacks of 7.5 along with Darryl Smith. Vic Beasley, rookie season, 3.5 sacks, 18 tackles for loss. Pretty good year. Pretty good year for him. And then Paul Posluszny again. It seems like NFL teams that play us just throw the ball across the middle of the field and Paul Posluszny catches it for an interception. That seems what happens. But Blake Bortles' first ever playoff game, is it going to be a victory? It is not. We lose by a single point to the Cleveland Browns, and our playoff hopes are done. They're dashed away. But that's okay. Remember, Super Bowls are not the end-all be-all of this episode or of this type of video. They are just little icing on top of the cake, basically. The main goal is to make sure that Blake Bortles becomes the best player he can possibly be, and we are on the very right track about that. It looks like Jarvis Landry won Offensive Player of the Year because he had 3 upgrade points right there. So, I'm pretty sure he just won Offensive Player of the Year. I mean, with 1,500 yards and what, 18 touchdowns, something like that, I would assume that he did. But you never know. Madden's kind of weird sometimes. So we'll give those upgrades to them. Seattle wins the Super Bowl. Fantastic. Okay, so Russell Wilson MVP. Rodgers gets MVP of the league. Jarvis does win Offensive Player of the Year. Gerard Mayo, Defensive Player of the Year. Todd Gurley and Stephon Anthony are your rookies of the year. So we head to the offseason. We also need to take a look at the team in general and just see other development trade upgrades because nobody else got like any breakout scenarios or anything. So if anybody's going to get upgrades, it's going to be just natural at the draft or at the Super Bowl week. And we do see only superstar. I was kind of thinking he might get X Factor, but no, it's only superstar development. Landry's gone up to X Factor, as you would expect. Diggs is pretty good. Justin Blackman's still only normal. That's going to be what hinders him. That is going to be what hinders him. And I think it is time for Jay Ajayi to start at running back. Offensive line's looking pretty solid. Kelce obviously is looking pretty good too. And on defense, Posluszny goes up to X Factor, which is big. Vic Beasley's a superstar. Alu is a superstar. But nobody else really changes. I think it's time for Kevin Pierre-Louis to start at right outside linebacker. And it's probably getting time for one of these two guys to start. We might have to go to 3-4 so that we can have 2 middle linebackers. We can move Shaq Thompson to middle. That might be what we need to do eventually. But for right now, we'll keep it off. If we can somehow grab ourselves Jalen Ramsey in this draft, then I think that would be the ideal way to go about this draft. But we'll have to see. We'll accept the option of Kenny Vaccaro. He was in that first draft that we got in 2013. Andre Branch will let go. All of these other guys we will probably let go. Yeah, we'll let everybody else go. And we can use that money either in free agency or next year in negotiations. So let's get to free agency. We probably need, I would think maybe corner or defensive line would be the biggest needs in free agency. Brandon Albert, Michael Orr, a lot of offensive tackles like it always is. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, we're pretty good at that. Tight end we're good with. Offensive line we're pretty solid at. Defensive line, Justin Tuck. I mean, it'd be cool a couple years ago, but he's a little bit too old for me at this point. D tackle, I mean, not really anybody. Right end, just same kind of deal. Not really feeling it. Outside linebacker, Whitney Merciless is intriguing, but he doesn't really fit anywhere for me, so. D'Amico Ryans, no. Everybody's just too low of an overall right now. And corner, there's nobody here that I really need to have. I mean, there's a couple guys that are 26 years old. Maybe they could fit in with us. But I feel like that could just end up being a waste of money. And safety we're pretty good with. So I think we might just keep our money. Or maybe I'm kind of thinking Drake or Patrick. I know that might be considered a little bit of a waste of money because he's normal development. But we only really have 2 corners in Malcolm Butler and the other guy. I forget his name. But we could use an extra corner and then go ahead and get Jalen Ramsey as well, then we have 4 corners that I like. So we do end up bringing in Drake or Patrick. So I feel like that's a good use of a little bit of money. But now we got to get to the draft. We still have over $80 million, so it's not like I broke the bank off the Drake or Patrick signing. It's not going to come back to bite us too much. So we'll get to the draft. We'll figure out what our draft picks are, and then we'll make our plan to get Jalen Ramsey. He's going to be a top 5 player, so we know that for a fact that we're going to have to get into the top 5 somehow. We'll probably have to use both our pick and Carolina's pick, or maybe I can use just Carolina's pick. Hopefully they had a bad year, so they give us a high pick. But I did already spend all my staff points on getting the trading tree up, so we don't have to worry about that. Let's take a look at the mock draft. Where do we have to trade up to get Mr. Ramsey? So he is currently number 4. That's a pretty steep ladder to climb. Where do we sit at? We sit at 19, and we sit at... Oh, we only have the 1 pick. Okay, so I must have used the other Carolina pick. Oh, yes, they have their picks right. I completely even missed it. So we only have our own first-round pick this year. Okay, so how do we get from 19? Well, I know how we do it. It's pretty simple. But we got to come away with Jalen Ramsey here. I guess we could also come away with Vernon Hargreaves because we've had very good success with Hargreaves in the past. But I would prefer Jalen Ramsey only because we're the Jaguars. So let's do the dang thing. Let's go get Jalen Ramsey. So we have pick number 19. Oh, wait, who was that? The Bills? The Bills don't have any first... Oh, the Bills don't have any draft picks this year. What happened? Did they trade all their picks away? I didn't touch the Bills. I don't know. They must have traded every single pick away because they don't have any picks this year. That's crazy. I don't know who they traded it for or traded those picks for, but that's kind of wild. I've never seen that before where they don't have any picks. Like they don't even have a 5th or a 6th. That's kind of wild. That is kind of wild. Oh, there's number 18. The Panthers have number 18. So we'll swap with the Carolina Panthers. They also had number 17, so we'll just go back and swap their 18 pick for the 17 pick. I probably could have just given them 19 and took 17, but we'll do it the hard way. Or the long way, I guess. So we'll swap 18 for... Where are they at? There they are. We'll swap 18 for 17. So then they basically just move down 1 spot each. So now they have, instead of 17 and 18, they have 18 and 19. But now we can move on to number 16, which I think... I know I went past. I forget who had it, though. It's held by the Packers. I saw green, thought it was the Jets. Packers. Okay. And I'll show you, I might as well, since you guys are going to ask about it. Franchise settings, bada bing, bada boom. Trade type, normal, all kinds of stuff. Hasn't changed. You just gotta do all the staff trading and it gets you up pretty easily. Pretty simple. Pretty darn simple. Alright, so pick number 16 goes to pick number 15. Or maybe we get lucky, it goes to pick number 14. Let me try 14 first. I saw 15 there, but let me try 14 first. Maybe we can do a 2-pick gap. There we go. See, that makes it a little bit quicker. When you can do a 2-pick gap instead of a 1-pick gap, that makes it slightly quicker. So let's keep trying that. So we go from 14 to 12. Who has number 12? The world may never know. It is held by the Rams. Perfect. And they accept it. You love to see it. Now, 3-pick gap is where you get tricky. You can't really do those 1-for-1. But a 2-pick gap in the right scenario is obviously what you can do, is the limit probably. But now we need to go to pick number 10. And that's held by the Doofins. So let's accept that. All right, now we're into the top 10. Now we just need to get to number 4, which is where Ramsey's projected. So we will continue our valiant efforts to get to number 4 by going from 10 to 8. And number 8 is held by a certain team. It is the Raiders. The Raiders. There we go. Bada bing, bada boom. Beautiful. And now we go from number 8 to number 6. Quick math. Number 8 to number 6. It should be held up here, right? One of the earlier teams. Yeah, it's held by the Falcons. And just like that, we are into the top 6. Now we just need one more trade, and that is with whoever holds number 4. I forget at this moment. I think it might have been the Ravens. Might have been the Ravens who held number 4. Let me check. Is it the Ravens? Was I correct in my assessment? Oh, they had 5. Who has 4 then? Who holds number 4? It's held by the Chargers. Okay, so the Chargers have number 4. We make the jump there. Boom, bang, bongo. Easy. Easy does it. Now we're top 4. Now we're sitting in perfect position to get ourselves Jalen Ramsey. The Niners have the first pick, and it looks like the draft class has been bugged. I don't really feel like backing out and backing back in, so we're just going to let it ride and hope that Jalen Ramsey is available. So let's make our selection. Jalen Ramsey is available. We will take him. We know he's like an 80-plus overall. Beautifully done, beautifully executed, perfectly managed, all the good stuff. We'll skip to pick number 19, and we will see who's left. I thought this said Danny DeVito for a second. I don't know why I would say that. Jihad Ward is always on my radar, and he might finally get the opportunity to get drafted by me. Because we could go Yannick Ngakoue. Wait, didn't I take Jihad Ward last time? I think, actually, you know what? I think I did take Jihad Ward last time. I think I'll take Yannick Ngakoue this time. We'll go Yannick this time. Because I think he either has star or superstar. I think it's... At one point it was superstar. Maybe it got lowered to star. I can't remember exactly. We go to the 3rd round now. Who is next on the list? Who is next on the list? It's probably not a receiver. It's certainly not a tight end. Ooh, it's probably Chris Jones. That's right. And yes, I know that doesn't look like Chris Jones. It's not the right portrait, but this is the Kansas City Chiefs Chris Jones. So we will take him again another time and go to the 4th round. So we're looking pretty solid there. What about safeties? Justin Simmons is intriguing. We could always move him to corner if we need to. Linebackers, I'm not really feeling it. You know what? I'm going to go Justin Simmons, and then we're going to let it ride with the rest of the class. So we'll draft Justin Simmons, and we'll come away with a pretty solid draft here in 2016. I'll let it ride with the rest of the class. They can take whoever they want to take. So, boom, getting some massive additions. Getting Jalen Ramsey, for one, is great. The defense definitely took a step up because that was all defensive players, right? We took Ramsey, we took Yannick Ngakoue, we took Chris Jones and Justin Simmons. That's all defensive players. So the defense is what needed some help, and we definitely did that in the draft. Boom, bing, bongo. We will adjust the lineup. Blake Bortles now officially is the best quarterback on the team. We'll go Jay Ajayi there at running back. Offensive line looks good. Kelsey's good. Defense, Ramsey becomes the number 1 corner, as you would expect. And now I have 4 corners that I trust. So I like that. Defensive line is massive improvements, and they will just continue to be massive improvements when they continue to get higher overalls. It looks like Kyle Van Noy is actually going to get the start at right outside linebacker. I'm fine with that. It was either going to be him or Ken Pierre-Louis, so I'm fine with either one there. And then Smith, I know we signed him to an extension, but he's probably going to continue to regress. So Shaq Thompson's probably going to get the start here pretty soon. And boom, this team looks a lot better now. A lot better now. Especially on defense. So maybe this year we can actually win 12 games and dominate the playoffs and win a Super Bowl. Maybe that's possible. I don't know. It's all up to how good Blake Bortles progresses. If he's going to continue to progress like he did in last year's regular season, where he went from normal to superstar during the regular season, then I'm expecting X Factor pretty soon. But I'm going to simulate to the end of the year 3 of Blake Bortles' career. Like always, if he goes up to X Factor, I will bring you guys back in. But if not, I'll see you guys at the end of the season. It seems like we cannot cross that threshold of 10 wins with Blake Bortles as the starting quarterback. We finished 9-8 again. Don't make the playoffs this year, but as long as Blake Bortles, which he did, leads the league in yards, and it looks like touchdowns in theory, that's really all that matters in the end game. He had 1 more interception than normal. He had 1 less touch, so it looks like he swapped that one touchdown because he had 36 last year, so he swapped that touchdown for another interception. But he did have a ton of yards. He had a great completion percentage. He did not go up to X Factor because he didn't see me bring him up or bring him back in. So still a superstar, but maybe these numbers are going to be good enough to get to Super Bowl week and we see him go up to X Factor naturally. That's a possibility. No 1,000-yard rusher. Jay Ajayi in his first season as a starter doesn't get it. That's okay. But Jarvis and Travis Kelce seem to be killing it as they have been the past couple of years. Diggs and Blackman are doing a pretty good job as the number 3 and 4 guys. Defensively, Kyle Van Noy actually takes over as the leader. I think Paul Posluszny's starting to regress slightly and get a little bit older, so Kyle Van Noy takes over the spot as the top tackle getter. Then you've got 17 tackles for loss for Tyson Alualu. Vic Beasley Jr. leads the team in sacks with 7.5. I like to see that. And then interceptions is Van Noy and Kirkpatrick both with 2, and a couple guys had 1. So another very productive year for Blake Bortles. I'm very excited to see if he's going to have X Factor when we get to Super Bowl week, because that's the last step. Once he gets to X Factor, then obviously there's nothing higher than that. So all we have to do is just get his overall into the 90s, and then we're pretty much done. So, wow, what a random Super Bowl. The Browns and the Lions are in the Super Bowl. 2 of the most unlucky, bad teams over the past 30 years. And they're both in the Super Bowl. That's kind of crazy. All right, so the Browns actually got it done. Season recap. Tim Tebow is the quarterback of Cleveland for the Cleveland Browns, and he gets the Super Bowl and the MVP. You know what? Tim Tebow has magical hands. He touches that football, it's magical. He touched the Cleveland Browns, it's magical. He got it done. I believe it. I wholeheartedly believe it. Aaron Rodgers wins MVP of the league. Odell gets Offensive Player of the Year. So does Von Miller for the defense. Josh Doxson and Eric Murray are your Rookies of the Year for 2016. Okay, perfectly cool. Don't care. That is pretty funny that Tebow gets MVP of the Super Bowl. Oh, of course. Only in a Madden simulation would Tim Tebow get Super Bowl MVP. As the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. What's his overall at? Hold on. Now I'm curious. What is Tim Tebow's overall? Tim Tebow is a 75 at 30 years old, and he led the team, the Cleveland Browns, to a Super Bowl and a win. Wow. He doesn't even get a development trade because he won MVP at the Super Bowl. That's insanity. That team must be loaded if they're going to take that kind of quarterback to the Super Bowl and win. That's insane. I've never seen something like that, or at least I haven't seen that in a long time. So, we did it. We did it. So, Blake Bortles is now officially an X Factor in just his 3rd season in the league. Travis Kelce skyrocketing. The Kansas City playbook certainly is goated. That's for sure. Blackman's developing okay, I guess. Stephon Diggs, I think it's time for him to take the next step. It's just not going to... Unless we specifically focus on Justin Blackman, it's never going to happen where he becomes as good as I want him to be. The offense line's good. We're looking pretty solid there. And then on the defense, Yannick Ngakoue, superstar. Kyle Van Noy jumps up to superstar. Ramsey's an X Factor. Kirkpatrick I would have liked to see go up to star, but that's okay. And it looks like it is Shaq Thompson's time to be the starter at either left outside linebacker or a second middle linebacker. And Chris Jones is superstar. We knew that. Okay. So the team is looking very good. A lot of low overalls, but the team is still very, very good. The offense is certainly better than the defense. And it's been like that the entire time. I do want to quickly take a look and see just after 3 seasons where Blake Bortles falls in terms of quarterbacks in the NFL. Because this is a very loaded quarterback time. We got Cam Newton, Andrew Luck. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So as of right now, as of the 3rd season off season, Blake Bortles is a top 10 quarterback in the league. Now, he has a very good shot of passing not only Eli Manning, because he's 36 years old, but Josh Freeman and Matt Ryan and Joe Flacco to get up here where the big boys play. Because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Blake Bortles, either next season or the year after, could be a top 6 quarterback in the NFL, which it would complete the goal. Technically, we've already completed the goal because Blake Bortles is a top 10 quarterback. You would never say Blake Bortles is a top 10 quarterback in real life. So even in that 2017 season. So I'm happy with that. We don't have much more to go. We do have to accept the option of Blake Bortles. He's going to get very expensive. Don't worry. He's going to get very expensive. We will give him his bag like we always do to the players we're focusing on. And everybody else we will let walk, including MJD. It's fully time for J.J. to be the starter. And then we re-signed Kenyon Barner to be his backup. So we'll see how that goes. All right, free agency. We got about $47 million in free agency, and it's just a bunch of tackles like it always is. Wide receivers, we don't really need a wide receiver. Offensive line, we're pretty solid at. Defensive line, Jonathan Hankins is intriguing, but I'd rather stick with the tight end or the D tackles that we have. Frosty Rucker. Outside linebackers, nobody that really tickles the pickle. Corners, I'm not feeling any of these guys. I feel like we just get some guys in the draft that could be better and cheaper. So safeties are all cool. Yeah, I don't think we're going to spend any money in this free agency. Not really worth it. Might as well just ride it out. Go to the draft. It's the 2017 draft. Myles Garrett's in this draft. I think this is even the Jamal Adams draft, so you guys know. You guys know. Obviously, Mahomes and Deshaun Watson are in this draft. A lot of big-name guys. We're not looking at a quarterback, obviously, but we could look at some defensive linemen, maybe Myles Garrett. Maybe, possibly, question mark, I don't know. Probably not, because we just traded up to get Jalen Ramsey, so we're probably not in position to trade up to get Myles Garrett as well. That'd be a little overkill, but maybe we do it. I'm kind of crazy. I'm kind of crazy. That could happen. Let's take a look at the mock draft, though. So, mock draft number 5 has Garrett going number 1. Understandable. McCaffrey going to the Patriots. I would love that. McCaffrey went to the Patriots. Let's see. Reuben Foster would be cool. I do like Reuben Foster. They have us taking TJ Watt. You know what? I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. It would be cool to trade up to get Myles Garrett, but sticking at number, what is that, 18? 15. Sticking at number 15 and taking TJ Watt, I'm fine with that. TJ Watt's a stud. He could play on the outside. I'm fine with that. We can just stick at 15. So number 1 pick is the Niners. They will, in fact, take Myles Garrett, then Solomon Thomas, Jamal Adams, Jonathan Allen, Derek Barnett, Christian McCaffrey to the Patriots. That makes me so happy. O.J. Howard, Corey Davis, Hassan Reddick, Charles Harris, John Ross, Reuben Foster, Ryan Ramczyk, Marlon Humphrey, and now we are live. And we will grab ourselves... Ooh, Marshawn Lattimore is also available. Crap, I thought he would already be gone. Oh, but TJ Watt's here too. What's our draft capital? Okay, just our own picks. Ugh. Having Marshawn Lattimore and Jalen Ramsey as a number 1-2 punch at corner would be unbelievable. I can't pass up Marshawn Lattimore. I thought he'd already be gone. You can't pass up Marshawn Lattimore. Having him and Jalen Ramsey as our 1-2 punch at corner, that's too irresistible. I can't pass that up. I know that TJ Watt's going to get taken pretty soon. I don't want to trade back in. I don't want to trade back in. I don't even know if he'll... It's too hard to tell. It's too hard to tell when he's going to get taken or not. So I might have to just trade in. Oh, I don't want to do this. But I do think that getting both TJ Watt and Marshawn Lattimore is the move. How do we do this? We trade our 2019 first-round pick. That's how we do it. Okay, they didn't like that. We trade our 2018 second-round pick, though. They like that a little bit more. We trade our 2019 fourth-round pick and our 2017 fifth-round pick. That's close. We trade our 2018 fourth-round pick. Trying not to give up multiple first-round picks. Oh! I want to keep this second-round pick. I do. We have to give up our 2019 third-round pick. Possibly. Oh, it accepted. That's a lot of stuff. But to get both TJ Watt and Marshawn Lattimore in the first round, I think is worth it in the end. So, and I could have waited a couple more picks. It was a little bit too risky for me. Any team could have taken TJ Watt. So, It was a little bit too risky for me. And I was able to keep my second round pick as well. So we can get possibly 3 really good players in this class. And that third player might possibly be Marcus May. It could possibly be, or it could be Alvin Kamara and we just get rid of Jay Ajayi. We don't really need another wide receiver. Maybe the move is to get Alvin Kamara. Because right now, I'm not seeing anybody else that I have to take right away. Except for maybe Marcus May. But then again, John Johnson's right there around 3 to 4. I think we take Alvin Kamara. And then we just ride... Maybe we trade Jay Ajayi for something else that we need. It's possible. We go to the third round, and I hope that... I was hoping John Johnson would be there. I see Eddie Jackson. We might go Eddie Jackson. I was hoping that John Johnson wouldn't get taken, but he does. I'm just going to go Eddie Jackson because I do think that getting an extra strong safety could be useful. So, Eddie Jackson, welcome to the squad. And then we'll go to the fourth round. That probably is going to be our last one, especially because we don't have a fifth round pick because I traded it. So I might want to go either receiver. Do we just go? Yes, I know Josh Dobbs is a wide receiver. I didn't make the draft class. Chris Godwin, George Kittle's right there. Having George Kittle and Travis Kelce would be pretty hilarious. The offensive line kind of is gone now at this point. I don't want Derek Rivers. I'm pretty sure this guy's got a pretty hot girlfriend, Isaac Rochelle, or maybe a fiance. I'm pretty sure his girlfriend / fiance is pretty hot. Let's see. I'm not seeing... Alex Anzalone doesn't do it for me, especially because we have TJ Watt already. I'm going to take, what's his face? George Kittle. Just because. I'm going to take George Kittle just because, and then we'll have Travis Kelce and George Kittle, 2 of the greatest tight ends of recent memory, are on the same team. I think in the long run that TJ Watt trade is going to end up being good. I know we traded a lot to get it, but I only traded 1 first-round pick, crucially. So we still have our first-round pick for next year if we end up needing it in 2018, which could be Quentin Nelson. Keep an eye on that. It's 2018 draft. It's all possible. It's all relative. All right, let's see what we're working with here in year 4 of Big Dog Blake Bortles. So we've got Jarvis Landry, who's a stud. We've got Jay Ajayi and Alvin Kamara. I could trade Ajayi right away, like in this preseason, and then just start Alvin Kamara. Maybe that's the right idea. Offensive line looks great. Defense, we got TJ Watt starting here. We need Kyle Van Noy to start because he did too well. So Kyle Van Noy will start. TJ Watt, Paul Posluszny. We've got Vaccaro. We've got Micah Hyde. We've got Lattimore and Ramsey and Blake and Malcolm Butler. The defensive line is good. A little weak on a couple of positions because they're a little bit too low of an overall, but they'll get better as the season goes on. And I like the team. Another year of Blake Bortles developing. We should be pretty good. The only question is, do we trade Jay Ajayi right away? Does he have any value right now? He probably should, right? Probably should have some sort of value. What can we get for him? We can get Frank Clark. We can get Michael Johnson, Scooby Wright. The value for him is not ideal. Man, I thought he'd get a little bit more value than that. Maybe we can get a draft pick for him. He's 24, and he's a 78 overall or something like that, 77. We can probably get something decent for him, right? The Bills need a running back. They have a top 4 pick projected. Can I get this? Oh, come on. Who is your starting running back? Who is your starting running back, Buffalo? A 73 Christine Michael. And you have Marlon Mack, who's a rookie. You need Jay Ajayi. I guess not. Anybody else that has a top need at running back? Let's just go through the teams that have a running back or don't have a running back. Oh, the Falcons are in desperate need of a running back. Okay. So you give me number 12 for Jay Ajayi straight up. What are we doing, Atlanta? How do you not want this guy straight up? It's a first-round pick. I get it. but you need a running back severely. What else can I give you? I guess we could give them Terrence Knighton and we just ride it out with Chris Jones. Oh, that puts them over the salary cap. I hate salary cap, bro. It's so stupid. Salary cap is the bane of my existence, and he's going to take him over. Daryl Smith is. So let's look for another team that needs a running back. The Packers need a running back pretty bad. Their pick is number 13, not much higher. And they don't have any money in the first place. My God, I hate this. Who else needs a running back? Washington needs one. Absolutely. They have pick 26. That's more doable. Okay, now we're talking. Now we're talking. I'll still give you Daryl Smith. Okay, they didn't like that very much. Who else is I going to give them? Oh, Terrence Knighton. That's right. Okay, that didn't really do much. That did not really do much. But if I give them a third-round pick in 2020, if I give them a second-round pick in 2020, it accepted. So we send away two older guys and Jay Ajayi plus a second-round pick. We get a first-round pick this year from Washington. And that allows Alvin Kamara to start right away. And we should be good from there. So we'll simulate year number 4 of Blake Bortles' career. I would expect him to jump into the 86, 87 range, hopefully. That's where we're at, because that'll put him in like top 6 territory, which is what we want him to do. So I'll see you guys at the end of the year. He's already an X Factor, so there's no chance for a superstar like upgrade or what's it called? What am I thinking of? A development trade. I couldn't think of the word development. A development trade upgrade. So I'll see you guys at the end of the season, because I can't bring guys in for anything else, and I wouldn't see anything else crazy happening. So yeah, I'll see you guys at the end of year number 4, hopefully with Blake Bortles into the top 6 of all quarterbacks in the NFL. We wrapped up the year and we finally crossed that threshold of 10 wins, including 11 and 12. We got to 12 wins on the year, finally, and I think this might be the final year of the Blake Bortles revival, because I'm pretty sure our man Blake has taken that ascension to top 6, maybe even top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Let's take a look at these stats. As you probably noticed, he was number 1 in both passing yards and passing touchdowns. Oh, these are fantastic. Oh my God. These are unbelievable numbers. 4,800 yards, 39 touchdowns, 5 picks. 74% completion percentage. Are you kidding me? These are Hall of Fame level numbers from our boy BB. Fantastic. Alvin Kamara as a rookie had 900 yards, 17 touchdowns. That's crazy. 17 touchdowns and not even 1,000 yards. Finally, Justin Blackmon gets that 1,000-yard mark. It's about time. Kelsey and Landry. Landry might have just went back-to-back on Offensive Player of the Year. He has another 1,500-yard season, and he has 19 touchdowns. That's about the same as he got last year, and he won Offensive Player of the Year. So he might have just gotten it again. Kelsey had a fantastic year. Blackmon killed it. Diggs took a step back, but I think it's because Landry just dominated. Then you've got yourself the defense. Kyle Van Noy, as you would expect, to lead the team in tackles. Vic Beasley with 25 tackles for loss. I'm glad he's developing into a solid player. He's also led the team in sacks with 9.5, 8.5 for Alu Alu. TJ Watt had a decent season, 15 tackles for loss. Chris Jones had a decent season. Ramsey led the team in picks. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. But the big thing is we made the playoffs with our man Blake Bortles. So can we actually win a playoff game? Because we played against the Browns a couple years ago and lost in the wild card. We win this time. That's what I'm talking about. And here's where you'll get to see what overall Blake Bortles is right now. He is a 91 overall at 25 years old. Now, obviously, the morale is carrying him even higher than that. I'm assuming he's probably like a 94, 95. I haven't taken a look at the actual lineup yet to see what his overall is with the boost of the morale. I guess we could take a look at that right now before we take on the Dolphins here. So let's go to the adjust the lineups. What is his overall with the boost? It is a 96 overall. We've done it. We've done it. We have made Blake Bortles into the quarterback that the Jaguars fans wish that he became. Can we take it to the AFC title game? Fun fact, it is the 2017 season, and we're playing in the AFC. If it would have been against the Patriots, that would have been fantastic. If it would have been against the Patriots, that would have been absolutely utter masterpiece. But we have been going on a streak recently of these Revival Series videos where we haven't actually won a championship with the guy that we have been reviving. So maybe this time we can change that because it is Super Bowl week on the horizon. AFC Championship game, Cleveland versus Jacksonville. A lot of history here. They beat us a couple years ago in the wild card round and won the Super Bowl last year with Tim Tebow. And they will defeat us in the AFC title game, so it's poetic, just like how the Patriots beat the Jaguars in the 2017 AFC Championship game anyway. That is kind of unfortunate that we lose there. I thought maybe it would happen. Maybe the stars would align, the Madden gods would give me a Super Bowl with Blake Bortles, but it's not going to happen. And now he's got two. He might have won MVP. He's got 2 upgrade points. That's a 93 officially. Oh my God, Blake Bortles might have just gotten the MVP. We got to go to the recap and find out. How else would he get 2 upgrade points if he's not winning MVP? Season recap, the Browns went back-to-back. Blake Bortles is the MVP of the NFL. Jarvis Landry goes back-to-back on Offensive Players of the Year. Von Miller gets himself the Defensive Player of the Year. Cooper Kupp and Jabril Peppers are your Rookies of the Year. Teddy Bridgewater is now quarterbacking the Browns, and it seems like a revolving door of quarterbacks. Tim Tebow got the MVP and Super Bowl for the Browns last year. Now Teddy Bridgewater comes in, Teddy Two Gloves, and he gets the MVP. Gets the Super Bowl and the MVP. So we have ourselves given Blake Bortles the career that he deserves. He has now earned himself MVP of the NFL. Oh, he's a 98 with the boost. Oh my God, we did it. He is a 93 normal player. Normal overall, but he is a 9. Kyle Van Noy gets X Factor. Beasley gets X Factor. Alu gets X Factor. Oh, good heavens. We have done it, ladies and gentlemen. We have absolutely done it. I'm calling it a wraps on the video here. That is, I mean, how much more could we do? I mean, the only thing that we could do better is actually win a Super Bowl with Blake Bortles. But to be fair, with the context of this video, I think winning an MVP is more important than winning a Super Bowl. So Blake Bortles now playing up to a 98 overall. If we go to the actual NFL and we go to quarterbacks, I mean, Blake Bortles has taken his spot amongst the greatest. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, obviously, he's number 5 with the boost, but he is number 7 without it because he's a 93. So I'd say we have successfully rebuilt Blake Bortles. We have revived his career. This is what his stats look like. I mean, those are some crazy accuracy numbers. His short accuracy never really gotten too crazy, but he's got great awareness. He's got great throw power, great accuracies deep and medium. Fantastic. He's just a studly player, and now he's the defending MVP of the league. So I'd say we have officially rebuilt the Jacksonville Jaguars and Blake Bortles. The only thing left to do is to give Blake Bortles the massive contract extension that we give to every player that we revive. But as you may have noticed, we have severe negative money, so we're going to have to restructure some contracts to do that. Beasley will accept his option just because. Shaq Thompson will accept his option just because. I don't think anybody else here needs... Yeah, we don't need to re-sign any of those guys, but we need to restructure enough money to bring back Blake Bortles. I don't know if we'll be able to. There's a lot of negative money that we got to get through here, so we'll restructure all these guys' contracts, and we will hope that it will free up enough money to where we can give Blake Bortles the contract he deserves. So let's just go through the list of players and just keep on restructuring these deals until we are able to afford enough money to sign Blake Bortles to the contract extension that he deserves. We'll keep moving down. Barnier gets one. Okay, so now we're getting to the point where the money's not going to make that much of a difference. But how much money did that free up? It didn't free up enough. Negative $26 million. Blake Bortles might be the first guy that we can't give the massive extension to. And I'll feel really bad about that. To be fair, he is making $57 million right now, so it's not like he's poor by any means. But it didn't free up enough money. We'll free up Jalen Ramsey, Vic Beasley, But we're down in the contracts that aren't making enough money to where it actually matters. So unfortunately, I think we might have to just let it ride with no contract extension for Blake Bortles, because I simply can't do anything about it unless I simulate the entire year or the entire offseason, and then we go to the new year with our new cap space. I guess that's possible, because it's not like his contract's up right now. So, you know what? Let me simulate the offseason. I'm not going to show you any of it. I'm just going to cut to the new year, and then we'll try to give, because I do want to give Blake Bortles his contract. So let me simulate to the new year, and we will see if I can give Blake Bortles the contract he deserves. Okay, so we made it to the next season. Now, here is where it gets a little interesting. Do we actually have enough money? Can we restructure contracts? We can't restructure anybody's contract just yet. Maybe I have to simulate into the season somewhat. Let's simulate to mid-season and see if we can actually afford Blake Bortles' extension or not, because he deserves it. He won the MVP of the league. He deserves to get a contract extension, maybe more so than anybody else that we've rebuilt or that we've revived so far. But we'll see if we can actually restructure enough contracts to free up the money, because we're only going to re-sign Blake Bortles because this is the end of the video. So it's not like we need to free up enough money to sign Blake Bortles and then sign everybody else. No, we don't care about those guys because we're not going to a point where they will leave the team anyway. So it's only enough money to get Bortles back, and it should, because once we get deeper into the season, that should allow for all the restructurings to count again. I would think, at least. Maybe because I did it again at the very end of the season, maybe it's not going to count. I guess we'll find out. This is a nice little experiment. We got a breakout quarterback scenario, so it looks like Blake Bortles is killing it once again. I don't want to go to leaky strategies, though. I will upgrade the players, just because. Okay, so we'll upgrade the players. Now we will take a look at negotiations. We'll see what we can do here. So, negotiations, we have negative $37 million, and there's Blake Bortles' contract, so it has expired, or at least it will expire. We need to now go see if we can free up enough money. So let's go to salaries. Let's go over here. So we can't do Landry, we can't do Kelsey, we can't do Blackman. I don't think it's going to happen. I can't. The only thing I can do probably is franchise tag him. Yeah, see, it must have been because we did it at the end in the offseason last year. It must not have rolled over fully. So, yeah, unfortunately, we can't give Blake Bortles the contract that he deserves. But in our hearts, we know that he is the best quarterback in the NFL and deserves that money. He is a franchise-level quarterback. We got him to a 93 overall in terms of just his base overall. But at one point, he was a 98. So, take that for what it is. We revived the career of Blake Bortles. We made him win MVP of the league. We got the Jaguars to the AFC Championship game. Pretty successful, if you ask me. So if you enjoyed the video, leave a like down below and hit that subscription button as well. Subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club, all of the good stuff that I want you to do because you love me and I love you. And if you want to see any more Revival Series episodes, leave a comment down below of a player you want to see revived, and I will maybe take them on in the future. But thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I truly appreciate it, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.